You're 12 years old and you're playing Monopoly with a few friends. One of them is that guy, the one who nearly always wins. You've played your best, but you're watching your pile of cash disappear as you land on yet another of his hotel properties. Your frustration grows and you find you have an urge to wipe everything from the board with both hands, sending houses and hotels, tokens and the chance cards flying. Been there, done that. And we have a national case of that frustration. Many of us watched in horror last November when a thoroughly unqualified narcissist won the election to be President of the United States, commander of the nuclear codes. It took a while for the reality of events to fully register, and the press has been chock-a-block with attempts to explain how this could have happened ever since that most fateful of days. How indeed could Americans have elected a schoolyard bully, a misogynist, a liar, an adulterer, a know-nothing, a destroyer of things? Last week I found a likely explanation. I've written several times about the enormous impact of globalization and the profound upset it's causing people in the industrialized world. We haven't come close to figuring out what to do about this, and not long ago it led to Brexit, a knee-jerk reaction by millions of displaced and angry Brits who responded to the uninformed, visceral calls of a braying bully. Just wipe the board, smash what is, vent the frustration. There's a connection of that to what happened here last November. Jill Filipovic provided insight in her recent essay in the New York Times. Here's a Monopoly and Brexit connecting paragraph. Resentful of the changing order of things, some men have simply leaned into chaos. If the system no longer serves them, it will at least be fun to blow it all up. Which is exactly why the old rules of political engagement don't work with Mr. Trump or his base. There are millions of frustrated, angry Americans for whom the American dream, the bubble idea of the way things work and will be, has burst. It's a bit like teens who rebel when they at last learn that the world doesn't remotely correspond to the fairy tales they were told to believe in. There's a mountainous, it's not fair resentment, and the echoes of that primal scream get reinforced every day. There's no question whether the system is equitable. It's not. For example, you already know about the great productivity gains of the past few decades and how nearly all of the wealth from those gains has gone to the rich, while workers have stagnated or moved downward on the economic ladder. All those globally displaced workers know it too, and they're living with the consequences of both globalization and economic unfairness. Little wonder they want to wipe everything from the board with both hands, sending houses and hotels, tokens and the chance cards flying. Stephen Bannon may have left the White House staff, but he continues to be one of Trump's advisors. Frighteningly, Bannon is specifically dedicated to bringing it all crashing down. Just look at what has already happened to our dramatically understaffed State Department and other agencies of government that make this country function. We don't have people in place to do what needs to be done. I don't know what Stephen Bannon's and Donald Trump's psychological issues are, but these destroyers are incrementally wiping the board into chaos. Put some thought into what will fill the void. It's a different game when you can't even find the houses and hotels, the tokens and chance cards that went flying, and you probably won't like what happens. I'm Jack Altshuler.